for listening to the No Grow Scale podcast, where we talk all things MSP growth. I'm so excited to have a client of mine and one of my favorite MSP growth minded people in the industry, Jim Gernatt, co-founder and CEO of Netverge. Jim, thanks for hanging out with me today for a little bit so we can talk about the great things you're doing in Netverge. Excited to have you today.
Thanks, Laura. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So I want to get right in. I've already seen a lot of buzz about what you're doing at Netverge. I've talked to a lot of people who are very aware. So I want to get into the story and let's talk about, I know that kind of the backstory of California Telecom is what leads into the whole reason that you built Netverge. So talk about that a little bit, the story behind how you got the idea to build Netverge and what got you there.
Sure. So, I started California Telecom in 2008, doing internet circuits, voice over IP, managed services. We still operate today and California Telecom is growing. But one of the things I noticed was there was a lot of noise in our ticketing, in our alerting and monitoring. So, we figured there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way to organize all these alerts and manage these customers' circuits better, manage their services better. So, we always had that in our mind. And, in talking to my CTO of California Telecom, we decided, you know what, we need to build another company, Netverge, that would cater to MSPs that could help also California Telecom. And so we built this platform to do exactly that and solve a lot of these problems that we're having, with managing circuits and services.
Well, so in that, how are you solving the management of circuits and the things that Netverge solves? How are you solving it differently than what maybe another software or another company might be doing?
Yeah. So there's a bunch of tools out there, a bunch of monitoring stuff, like Zabbix, PRTG, and 24/7. There's all these software packages that you could put in all your services and they'll monitor that. And then if they go down, an alarm will go off. And usually it's either going to go into your ticketing system or your email and you got to tend to it. Well, if you got like hundreds of circuits that you're monitoring, these things go down for all kinds of reasons. It could be a power outage.
Right.
It could be somebody rebooted their modem or their router or it could be anything. It could be a maintenance in the middle of
right.
the night. These maintenances in the middle of the night, they go down, generates an alert, the alerts come in. And so, the guys that in our NOC and the support team, they have to tend to all that stuff. They have to clear it out and find out what's actually a problem. And so they're wading through all this noise, tickets and alerts and stuff like that, which could take 2 or 3 hours of their day.
Right.
And that is just, basically unacceptable. So
right. In this day and age, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And if you wanted to have a lean operation, you got to have, these alerts have to be clean,
Right.
So, Netverge, we're doing it differently. So what happens is we have alerts that are happening right now. These are circuits that are down. And those are the ones that are critical. And then you have circuits that went down, but then came back up. Or it could be a service that, went down for whatever. It was a reboot or whatever.
Right.
But those stuff cleared. So those cleared, you shouldn't have to tend to those right away.
You have the awareness, but
awareness, they're there, they're in your event log, but then, you focus on the critical issues and also you focus on human interaction. So if actually somebody sent in a ticket or an email, he's not going to be in the bottom of the pile of all these alerts. He's going to be there in the top because you've cleared out all these, self-cleared all these, false alarms or these noisy alarms that really shouldn't have any impact.
It sounds to me like you're removing a lot of the distraction that can, I for one can chase a rabbit or two in my business. So it sounds like you're able to kind of eliminate some of these distractions that can really kind of take down a whole day, or multiple days in terms of time spent by technicians or whoever. Right.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And one of the things that we found was we weren't getting to projects in a timely manner too, is so the projects would build up And, and I'd say, well, how come we haven't got to this project or that project? And so, well, we have all these tickets we got to deal with, all these alerts, and, we're trying to clear stuff like that. And like, there's got to be a better way to deal with this. So, that is how Netverge was born. And then, now with AI, it can even do a lot of the stuff, because a lot of the things what you do is when there's an alert that comes in, you got to do like investigation. You got to do this. So it could be like, pinging the router, logging into the router, looking at its uptime, looking at the interfaces, looking for errors, looking for all these things that could be wrong. But now with AI, we make AI do it. So AI is basically doing all these things. So we have like these little agents, these AI agents that'll go in, log into the router, collect all this data, and then analyze and figure out, is this a problem or not? If it's a problem, then it can present it to a human to look at. So it's not going to be fully autonomous. I mean, we're trying to head into that direction, but it's not there yet with AI. But, what you can do is you can get it pretty close by doing a lot of the legwork, a lot of the tedious work, and then present that to a human tech.
Right.
And just do the real work.
Which is really how we should be using AI to begin with. That get it 90%, 80-90% of the way there, and then get a real human to verify.
Instead of having them do all this work, have it do the work. And so, in a lot of times, those steps get skipped by the techs. Maybe they're busy, or they forget, or something like that.
A detail, the
little details and stuff like that. So with AI now, it's going to do it every single time in a certain way and follow a process.
Yeah. Wow. So what are you're talking to a lot of MSPs, you've got the background that you have, so you kind of understand the problems. What are the biggest, just like it sounds like you saw a problem and solved it, but what are some of the big blind spots that you're seeing in these businesses when it comes to data documentation systems, and how, what might get missed by a person that is getting picked up by your tool?
One of the things that we did in this is network documentation. So, when there's a problem and we have to look at the customer's, infrastructure, their topology, instead of having to dig through folders and stuff like that, we've organized Netverge in like a hierarchical structure so that it's, it's sorted by client, their location, and then each location can have a service, an asset, an IP address management, or documentation for that location. So it's easy to kind of drill into that location, go into their network documentation. And these documents can be anything. It could be, a network diagram. It could be an SOP. It could be instructions on how to reboot a server, or special instructions, stuff like that. But you put that into that location for that particular client, and it's easily accessible by the techs. And so that document management is already structured and organized in a way that's easy for the tech to get to.
Yeah. And you talked about, building SOPs inside of the platform, right? So you're really, it's more than just detection. It's also proactive, and a tool that's, to me, it solves a lot of different problems, right? It's not just doing one thing in particular.
Yeah. And we use the industry standard. We use our experience to build these SOPs. We have these templates. So you can go in there and pick a template, an SOP template or network documentation template, and utilize that template for yourself, and then add that data. And what it will do is it'll force the engineers and network administrators to follow that template guideline, so that they're collecting the proper information for that particular site or for that asset or resource. And then if you don't, you can also have just a blank template or something that's very loose. But I found that if you have a very structured SOP template or document template, that the technicians follow that. And then the plus side of all that is now AI knows how to query that document. So you can say something like, give me the modem for this particular serial number or something like that. And since you already have that structure built into your template, the AI knows exactly right up. Yeah.
Well, you're making it very hard to not want to see it. Can we take a look at it? If you have it handy, I'd love to just, if you can, just walk us through kind of a use case or,
Give me 1 second. I'm going to log in.
I would be doing a disservice to talk about it without actually getting to show everybody the tool.
So this is the basic main dashboard of Netverge. So you can see at a glance that, kind of like your inventory of clients, services, assets, everything is kind of summarized right here. And then we have a map view of your services, red being there's something down, and then, there's a warning, and then a bunch of healthy circuits and services here too. So this is all summarizing the monitoring of these devices. And then I think where the real magic happens is here in the event viewer. So here you can see that there's 2 active circuits that are down right now. And they'll be basically center stage in this event viewer. So if you click on them, you can drill down even further. Can you see the screen?
Yeah.
So there's a historical view that you can actually drill into. And so this is kind of telling you a summary of what's going on, but I can actually click on this icon here, which will give me a historical view, which you can see exactly when that circuit went down or that service went down. So here at, yesterday at 6:49, the service stopped responding. But, what you can do is if you have all your clients loaded in here, you can have a summary. So you can see all the clients here is all their healthy services, warning and critical, and the types of services they have with you. If I click on that client, you can also see those services listed here, all the locations at a glance.
Yep.
Contact information is going to be here. All their services are going to be listed here, assets. But so what I wanted to show you is under services, like they have like these different types of circuits. So let's say if we wanted to look at one of these circuits here, like this TPX 100 by 100 meg wireless circuit, I can click on it and it will give me some information here, like the IP address information you can store. So it's got what type of router, the gateway information, and the health status. And we have these agents that go out and do these probing. And so at a glance, again, you can kind of see what's healthy, what's not. If I click on any of these agents, it'll tell me some more information back to the circuit. So it's
really big to get whatever you're looking for, but from like a home dashboard, you're able to see what's most important right then and there.
Yeah. And a lot of it is done, the data is collected from these agents. So we'll have these things called, there's an SNMP agent, which will collect information from the router itself. So as you can see, I have an SNMP agent here that's reading the switch. So if I click on that, I can see all the switch ports in a glance. So I don't have to be digging through interfaces or logging into the device. Everything is listed here real easily and clear for me to look at. So I can click on it. I can see how much bandwidth that particular interface is using, and it's really easy to navigate.
Yeah. Wow. I bet that's have you done any sort of like analysis of what kind of time savings this could amount to in a day?
Yeah. Like I said, when there's a problem, you're going to see the circuits that are down right here. We have these like self-clearing incidences where circuits go down and they come back up, and bulk of the alerts are going to be in this section here. You're going to see, they went down. This one, went down, for example, for 2 minutes and then came back up.
Right.
And it went down in the middle of the night. So, when the guys get in and they're starting to look at these things, what's more important? Do you want to work on these, or do you want to work on the
helps with prioritization? And yeah.
And then we have items that are in progress. You can see, techs that are actually working on different circuits and trying to resolve it manually.
Yeah. So just for a second, do you mind if I remove your screen shares?
Yeah, go ahead.
So a lot of, as I'm seeing this and seeing what all it can do, I think about the MSPs that, I know that might have a concern about another tool. So, or another software, another thing to log into. So what would you say, or how does Netverge integrate into their stack without adding another thing? And obviously plenty of value inside the application, but I just, speak to that a little bit if you don't mind.
Yeah. So, we had that same issue, we had, Netbox for managing asset information. We had like our accounting software to manage the contacts. We had, the different ticketing software, all these different SaaS apps that were basically big data sprawl for us. I mean, it's just, data all over the place.
Right.
So, it's like, okay, well, Netverge is just like another app. So we tried to combine a lot of the common apps that are out there into a single platform, which is
Right.
People might use IT Glue. Well,
Right.
we do document management in our platform, so we don't need IT Glue.
Right. So they can eliminate a lot of the things that
They can eliminate all those, and some of these other third party apps already, they go deep. So for example, you look at Zabbix. Zabbix has a lot of tools, but you only use maybe 5 or 10% of them. You want to look at uptime, you want to look at, have SNMP pulling and stuff like that. But all these, it's got graphs all over the place and, reports that you can run. And it's really, you don't really use them. You really just want to know, is the circuit down? But then, Netverge goes on another level with those agents and, having AI integration. So we've eliminated all these other apps that you can have to subscribe to and put everything into a centralized location. So a technician can go basically into the app, pull up the client, go to their location, and find what they got to find. Whether it be the service information, their IP address information, the vendor they're utilizing, or a network topology map. We're in
a lot of having to find
instead of jumping from one application to another.
Right.
Place.
I bet after in the next year, I'd love to see a true data study on how much time you're saving from the back and forth. So I know that you're going to be at some events coming up in the fall. Can you tell us where MSPs, first of all, where they might be able to find you if they are interested in learning more about Netverge, and then also where will you be in the next couple of months, just so if anybody's out and about, they can find you and get a demo live.
Yeah, I think the big one to go to is CV Expo. It's going to be in, I believe, Glendale, Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where, we're officially going to be launching our product, and we're going to be doing a demo. We're sponsoring. We're a silver sponsor there. So we'll be, doing a live demo. And so that's going to be kind of like a place to go see us.
Awesome. And then if they want to get a demo right now, if somebody sees this and they have their aha moment and they need to talk to you, where would they get on your calendar?
Yeah, so you can actually go on our website at www.netverge.com and put in your email. There's a box up there. You put in your email and reach out that way. I can get in touch and we can schedule a demo.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited about you launching this product. I know a lot of MSPs will benefit from it and already are getting to experience the benefits of this. So thank you, Jim, for taking some time to show us the tool. And thank you for being on the No Grow Skill podcast.
Hey, thanks, Laura. I appreciate it.